French men and French women, my dear compatriots in France and abroad. In line with a tradition, I am delighted to present my best wishes to you for the new year. 2018 caused a lot of intensive emotions. France experienced great moments, sports victories, major cultural events, the celebration of the centenary of the armistice of 1918, which I supported. And I represented France for peace in this regard. The Prime Minister, the government and Parliament in 2018 did a lot for the country. I'm not going to enumerate all the things they did, but many changes which we thought would be impossible in the field of labor or railways were implemented. They have launched major changes in schools, universities, apprenticeships, the attractiveness of our country. They have laid the foundations for an ambitious strategy to improve the organization of our hospitals, clinics and doctors, to fight against global warming, to eradicate major poverty, and to enable our fellow citizens who are handicapped to find their place in society. The results cannot all be seen immediately, and of course, patients cannot always be satisfied in this regard. The government, in the next few months, will continue its work to create more reforms, to push more reforms, and to make in-depth changes to the rules governing unemployment benefits, to encourage people to work more and to make public services more effective. And our retirement pension system must be made fairer in order to create greater security for the 21st century. But we've also had some big divisions, and great anger has been expressed against injustice, against globalization, which is sometimes incomprehensible, anger against an administrative system that is too complex, and anger against deep changes, which, of course, raise questions about our society's identity and its direction. This anger, in my view, had a message. We are not resigned. Our country wants to build a better future based on our ability to invent new ways of acting and of doing things and of living together. That is the lesson I learned from 2018. We want to change things, to live better, defend our ideals. We want to innovate in terms of democracy, social affairs, politics, economics, and in the environment. It would be dangerous in our situation that we ignore the realities of the world of today. On the contrary, everything counts. And here again, great certainties are being called into question. The international order established in 1945 is being called into question by new powers and is being changed by some of our allies. Everywhere in Europe, extremist parties are growing, and private interests are also being more active. Big migratory movements are causing great concern and are being exploited by demagogues. We need new responses to this phenomenon, which will not end tomorrow, given demographic trends across the world. The fight against global warming and in favor of biodiversity are more necessary than ever. We will overcome these challenges together. We will overcome private interests, obscurantism, and national interests. Terrorists continue to threaten us all. And on all continents, this problem exists. A few weeks ago in Strasbourg, terrorists struck again as they had struck in Trèbes and in Paris in the previous years. Technological change, deep technological change, including artificial intelligence, are changing the way we take care of ourselves, we transport ourselves, we move and train ourselves. We are experiencing several upheavals. Ultra-liberal capitalism, guided by short-termism and greed, is coming to an end. The malaise in Western civilization and the crisis of our European dream exist. Does that mean we should despair? I don't think so. It's a challenge, an immense challenge, and all of this is obviously linked with the malaise our country feels. But specifically, we have a place, we have a role to play, a vision to propose. That is the direction which I have been moving in since I started my mandate as president, to put human beings at the heart of our contemporary projects. This means great determination and constancy. I am deeply convinced that we have to invent a deeply French and European project in order to meet the challenges of today in our countries and beyond our borders. We here must also, as we have always done, we must play our role in contributing to the renaissance of our world. That's why, my dear compatriots, this year, 2019, will be a decisive year in my view, and for us, I have three wishes to express. First, a wish for truth. Yes, we all hope, we all wish, well, we cannot forget that we can't build anything on untruths and lies. For many years, we have taken the habit of denying reality. We can't work less and earn more. We can't cut prices, cut taxes and increase expenditure, not change our way of life and expect a more healthy environment. We must look at ourselves as we are and accept the realities that exist. We are living in one of the greatest economies in the world. Our infrastructures are among the best in the world. Our education is almost free, and our healthcare is one of the cheapest in the world, with the best doctors. We spend for the functioning and investments in our public affairs. Let's stop berating ourselves. Let's stop saying that there's no solidarity in France, that we should always spend more. We can do better, and we must do better. We must ensure that our public services remain available wherever we need them, that doctors go and open surgeries in neighborhoods or countrysides where they are needed, that we can have mobile phones and the internet wherever we go, and above all, that we can live in safety and peace everywhere. I will personally ensure that this happens every day. The national debate, the national consultation will allow us to tell the truth, to speak truthfully to each other, and I will be setting out our expectations in the next few days. Speaking the truth means talking about realities, and the will for truth is that we should remain a robust democracy, and we must protect ourselves from intoxication, from disinformation. We can debate about everything, but we must beware of fake news, especially when it is peddled by people who are defending private interests. And the cult of the immediate short-term realities is not what we need to build confidence in news based on rules of transparency and ethics. This desire for truth is deeply what I want everybody. We need to listen to each other. We need to show humility. There is no one single truth. Each of us makes a mistake when we assert things without engaging in a dialogue and without listening to the arguments of other people. So let's debate, let's consult each other and focus on what brings us together. My second wish for 2019 is a wish for dignity. I am deeply convinced that each citizen is necessary to the nation's project. Many of our fellow citizens don't feel respected. They feel frustrated. I'm thinking of mothers who are raising their children alone and have troubles making ends meet at the end of the month. Farmers who wish to live worthy lives from their activities. We have started bringing answers to these problems, and I know people are legitimately impatient, but we can go further. It implies allowing each citizen, wherever he or she lives, to have access to better education, through better education to get a better job and develop his life or her life and the family's life. This means ensuring that each person has rights in society and also to respect the obligations of each citizen. So we have started to establish this. It is our responsibility of all of us. We must show respect. We must respect effort and work. This also assumes that we fight against certain interests that block our society and our state, that don't recognize the merit of many of our citizens who are pigeonholed, as it were. Our dignity as citizens requires that each of us should feel a player in society, a participant in decision-making, either directly or through its representatives. Thanks to the national consultation that has started, we must revitalize our democracy. On this topic, I will have to make some decisions soon because our institutions must continue to evolve. And dignity, my dear compatriots, is also respect for each individual. And I must say that in recent times, I've seen and heard unacceptable things. We live free in our country only because the generations that preceded us fought in order against despotism and against tyranny. And this freedom requires a republican order. It requires respect for each opinion and for each individual. Some people have a pretext, claim to speak on behalf of the people. In fact, they only represent forces of hatred. They criticize everybody, Jews, foreigners, homosexuals, the law enforcement. They negate France. They are a negation of France. The people is sovereign. The people are sovereign. They express themselves through elections. They choose their representatives who then lay down the law, precisely because we are a state which is based on the rule of law. The republican order will be ensured very strongly. I expect that each of you will show respect for life in society. I would also like to say a word for all those who, on a day-to-day basis, allow our republic to work in favor of the greater dignity of all our citizens. Our military, in some thousands of kilometers away from their families, our firemen, our gendarmes, our police officers, the hospital staff, the elected officials, voluntary people working for associations, all those who are favoring day-to-day brotherhood and fraternity, and tonight are working at the side of the weakest sections of population, and I'm thinking of them in particular. Finally, I would like to express a third and last wish, a wish of hope, hope in our common future, hope in our Europe. I believe we have the energy that is necessary, provided we recover our self-confidence. France has an original project to defend based on education, a common culture, developing industrial ecology, a society with new forms of solidarity at the service of all people. And beyond that, what we deeply want is to recover control over our destiny, our daily lives. And that is what should guide our choices for the country, for the big decisions affecting our future. And that's also what should guide the renewal of Europe's policies, which I will be proposing in the next few years. Taking control of our lives means choosing what we eat and ensuring tax equity and investing to innovate and bringing a joint response to the challenge of migration. I deeply believe in this Europe that can better protect its peoples and give us hope. In May next year, we will be able to express our views on Europe in the European elections. We want to put an end with the sense of impotence, sense of no power. It's a major challenge, but it is achievable. I'm sure we are capable of this. And this is what gives me hope for 2019. I grew up in the south of France, and I remember that in the last decades, that part of France has suffered. But I know that our future will only be ensured by unity and by an effort on the part of each of us. That is how each citizen will recover a sense of meaning and some control over his or her life. And I know that our future depends on our ability to love each other and to love our country. From all parts of the world, of France, from all generations, that is the source of France's energy. I'm working proud of our country. I'm proud of all the French citizens who are determined to take up all the challenges of today and of the future, because I believe in us. I believe in the French hope and the European hope that we can support. So, my dear compatriots, I wish you a great year 2019. Long live the Republic, long live France.